My name is Isa Bennett, and once upon a time, I believed my code could change everything. 11 years back, I walked into Hion Dynamics Seattle office carrying a refurbished laptop and the kind of reckless hope you only get from growing up without options. I came from a fading Rust Belt town in western Pennsylvania, where I taught myself Python in a public library that smelled like mildew, because Wi-Fi, and even a working computer, were luxuries my family couldn't afford. To me, every algorithm was a blueprint. A structure meant to stand. And Hyen's data orchestration platform? That was my cathedral. I gave it everything I had: holidays, sleep, relationships that cracked under pressure. Then, on a gray Tuesday morning, it all disappeared. Your position has been terminated. That's all the email said. No salutation. No reasoning. Just a cold subject line and a locked company Slack. 11 years of building, gone with a login error. I sat alone in my tiny Capitol Hill apartment, oatmeal spoon frozen midair, wearing pajamas I hadn't washed in a week. The only sound was the soft wheeze of an ancient air purifier. My laptop blinked open to a freelancing site, filled with listings screaming for hungry devs. I scrolled. Clicked one out of spite. Seeking AI or ML Ninja. Must relocate. Equity only. Unlimited snacks. I nearly laughed. Then something caught my eye. A tech headline I wasn't even consciously reading. Hyen merger falls apart over software ownership. My heart stuttered. That was the $600 million deal Hyen had been bragging about. Gone, because of a licensing dispute? The word's core architecture conflict practically screamed at me. I knew that language. I was the architecture. A slow, electric chill crawled up my spine. I'd written that foundation. Every core module. Every workaround. They could ghost me, sure. But erasing me? That was another story. The next morning, I found an envelope jammed under my door. Thick. Heavy. The kind of paper that smells like courtrooms. My name typed on the front. Carson Adler LLP, Corporate Litigation, San Francisco. My fingers shook as I tore it open. Dear Miss Bennett. It read like a death sentence at first. We represent Hion Technologies in relation to the potential acquisition of Hion Dynamics. We request a meeting regarding your intellectual property rights associated with patent No. US $10,456,789, which identifies you as the sole inventor. I blinked. A patent? Mine? I didn't even remember filing one. I yanked my laptop closer, hands trembling, and punched the number into the USPTO database. It loaded slowly, like syrup. Then, there it was. My name. My code. My signature. No Hyen. No co-inventors. Just me. The memory came flooding back, 6 years ago, a thick folder pushed into my hands by Dr. Martin Keene, Hyen's then CTO, and my mentor. The guy who could fix a failing system with a napkin sketch and wore threadbare blazers like battle armor. He'd been pushed out right before the executives took over. Just in case, he murmured, handing me that manila folder like it was a life vest. You don't wait for the storm to start boarding the windows, he said quietly, glancing over his shoulder like someone might be listening. Turns out, he was right. They thought I'd disappear. They thought I'd let it go. But if Hyen wanted to move forward, they'd have to come through me. And this time I'd be the one writing the contract. At the time, I thought Martin was being dramatic. Now I realize, he saw the storm coming. I remembered the day he limped into my cubicle, knee still wrecked from a hiking fall he never let heal. His ID badge dangled from a belt loop. He always said lanyards were for bureaucrats. He dropped a folder onto my desk like it was nothing. You're filing this patent yourself. I blinked. Martin, that's legal's job. I sent the specs weeks ago. They'll bury it, he said flatly. File it under a team, erase your name, and pin it to Mason's chest when the merger goes live. I hesitated. I wasn't a founder, just a senior dev with a love for clean code. They'll reject it, I murmured. Exactly, he said, then they'll forget. That's what we want. So I did it. Filed the paperwork late one Friday night, used my home address, listed myself, sole creator, attached the diagrams Martin helped sketch on napkins. Then I moved on. 5 more years of debugging pipelines and missing the big picture. Until now. Back in my apartment, pacing hardwood floors while Pixel pawed at the Carson Adler envelope like it owed him money, I stared at the patent ID glowing on my screen. This wasn't protection. This was leverage. Martin hadn't just saved my code. He'd handed me a fuse. And Hyen had just lit it. They thought firing me was a clean break, an HR formality to smooth the $600 million merger. Instead, they'd triggered a detonation. And now Ariane, their would-be buyer, knew it too. I didn't sleep. Instead, I scribbled notes on takeout menus, redrew system maps, cross-checked API calls from memory. By 3:17 a.m., I sat frozen, staring at the patent again. This wasn't just my code. It was proof. Ownership. Power. And in a few hours, when I walked into that meeting, Hyen wouldn't just see the girl they ghosted. They'd see the woman who built the system their future depended on. If you've ever been underestimated, discarded, or quietly building something the world didn't see coming, subscribe. Because this is just the opening move. At 7:02 a.m., my phone lit up. 415, San Francisco, Hyen HQ. I let it ring. Ping. Voicemail. Mason here, hey Isla, hate how things ended, let's reconnect, water under the bridge, right? Then the pause. That patent doc, that cloud balancing thing you helped with? Helped. I wrote every line of that framework while Mason was busy sipping single malt with Ariane's board. I didn't call back. Instead, I texted the only number that mattered, Martin's. Martin, it's Isla, the patent's live, Hyen wants it, call me. He called at 1:53 a.m., sharp. Took them long enough, he said, his voice, still gravel and steel. They fired you before the deal, didn't they? 2 weeks before, I whispered. No reason? None. Classic, he spat. That patent is the spine of the whole house, you hold the deed. Then he gave me a name, Lydia Alvarez, IP law, relentless, surgical, lethal. I called her that night. Ms. Alvarez, I think I own something Hyen wants to bury. Her laugh cut like tempered glass. Oh sweetheart, she said, you've got them by the throat. I forwarded everything, the certified letter, Mason's voicemail, my patent documents. At noon, another envelope slid under my door, this time from Hyen HR. Vague warnings, accusations, alleged proprietary data on my laptop. I sent it to Lydia. They're bluffing, she said, let them sweat. For the first time in weeks, I felt it, not fear. Not uncertainty. Power. Lydia laid out the strategy. Hyen wasn't trying to negotiate. They were trying to scare me into surrender. But it was already too late. Ariane doesn't want Hyen anymore, she told me. They want you, the actual inventor, and they want to deal direct. Yesterday, I was unemployed, ignored, disposable. Today, I was the bottleneck. The asset. The key. I called Martin again. What do I do? They're offering apologies, even a job. His reply hit like iron. You don't negotiate with snakes, Isla, you strike. They fired you after you built their kingdom, now you hold the deed to the throne. He was right. I'd written that code while my mother was going through chemo, through migraines, through Mason's fake praise and backhanded compliments. They didn't deserve mercy. Lydia scheduled a meeting with Ariane for the following week. Keep quiet, she said, let Hyen panic. And they did. 3 days later, my phone buzzed with a name I hadn't seen in a year, Priya. We used to debug disaster together before she climbed into middle management. Her voice trembled. He asked me to reach out, said, he wants to make things right. They were using her now. Tell Mason to talk to my lawyer, I said, voice steady, and Priya, don't let them use you the way they used me. I ended the call, hands shaking not from fear, but from power finally reclaimed. That night, Lydia forwarded an email. Ariane legal. Direct negotiation confirmed. No middleman, no Hyen. Just me. The Ariane boardroom gleamed, glass walls, chrome fixtures, billions in quiet tension. I walked in wearing the same black blazer I used to wear on code demo days. Mason was already seated across the table. Sweat darkened the collar of his designer shirt. And for the first time, he looked at me, not like a ghost from a fired employee's past. But like the woman holding his entire empire in her hands, two of his attorneys flanked him, smug, silent, useless. Lydia sat beside me, calm like bottled fire. Mason greeted me with that same TEDx grin, rehearsed, hollow, meant to charm a crowd. "Isla," he said smoothly, "great to see you. Let's clear this up. No drama, just progress." I said nothing. Let him talk, let him sweat. He launched into nostalgia, how loyal I was, how relentless, how things could have gone differently. Then he slid a contract across the table, a payout, a consultant title, press credit. All the polish of being tolerated, not respected. "Let's fix this patent mix-up," he said with that corporate calm smile. Lydia didn't flinch. "Mix-up?" she said, voice cool. "You mean the patent Miss Bennett owns outright?" I leaned in, quiet and razor-sharp. "I built your platform, Mason, every line of code, every 2 a.m. patch. While you were test-driving luxury sedans, I got fired by auto-email. No subject, no signature, no soul. And now your $600 million deal is ashes, because you didn't even know what you had." I slid my own document across the table. A notice of exclusive negotiations. With Arion. Mason's face blanched, the blood drained from his polished confidence. I smiled, polite, measured, lethal. "This isn't a negotiation. It's a handover. They're licensing the patent from me. You're not in the deal." His lawyers looked like someone just unplugged their future retainers. Mason's voice cracked. "Isla, wait." I stood. Lydia gathered our things, calm as ever. "Good luck with your board," I said. "I hear they're not thrilled." We left. Silence followed us out, sharp enough to shatter glass. I didn't need his apology. I had his collapse. My new office at Arion Technologies overlooks Elliott Bay. The skyline gleams like the future finally said my name. The brushed steel plate on my door reads, "Bennett, Chief IP Strategist." No junior. No interim. No asterisk. Just me. 3 days ago, Arion bought the patent, outright. Then they handed me an offer I had to read 3 times to believe. The signing bonus alone cleared my mother's medical debt, wiped my student loans, and left enough for a down payment on a condo with real sunlight. I don't eat dry oatmeal anymore. Meanwhile, Hion Dynamics is unraveling in real time. TechCrunch, VentureWire, The Journal, all circling the carcass. Lawsuits pending. Board in shambles. Mason Caldwell under investigation for corporate negligence. He left me a voicemail, 48 seconds of carefully packaged regret. I never pressed play. I forwarded it to Martin with one line, "Me, one." He replied with a gif of a wolf howling at the moon. I laughed. Then I deleted it all. Mason's voice has no weight here. His empire is ash. And I lit the match. Now, I stand in my corner office, coffee in hand. Not gas station sludge, not instant mix. Single origin, co-op roasted beans, by a women in tech collective. A quiet luxury I once thought frivolous. Now, it's fuel. I don't feel like a queen. I don't feel like a destroyer. I feel free. Free from the grind that swallowed my 20s. Free from coding through migraines while someone else got the credit. Free from being erased. I'm not that girl anymore, the one in faded sweatpants, crying over bills and broken trust. I'm the woman who wrote the backbone of their billion-dollar platform, and then walked out with its soul. Last week, I found an old photo, a holiday picture from my first year at Hyen. I'm in the back, half smile, full hope. Martin's in it too, ID clipped to his shoe, smirking like he already knew how it would all play out. He saw the storm coming. And he handed me the umbrella. Now, I build something else. Not just better systems, a better future. One where engineers like me don't vanish. Where women aren't pushed aside to make space for someone's golf buddy. Where the right idea doesn't die in someone else's inbox. It's slower, but it's mine. Hyen's headlines are fading. Mason's probably busy writing his next pitch deck for another shiny lie. I don't care. I'm not angry anymore. I'm done. I have my cat, Pixel, sleeping in a sunbeam. I have my coffee. I have a life I never dared to imagine, back when debugging code meant crying quietly in the dark. If you've made it this far, thank you. You walked with me through betrayal, into battle, and into the light. If this story meant something to you, hit subscribe. Because we're just getting started. We're sharing stories of grit, justice, and the long game. And every quiet keystroke can rewrite the future. I'll see you in the next chapter.